The drop in tourism in 2025 in Vegas is just the tip of the iceberg. There were stories that went largely unreported. How about $30 million money laundering schemes right on the Las Vegas Strip? A silent poverty crisis hit the Las Vegas Strip when tourism dropped, and Congress seemingly screwed everybody starting January 1st of 2026. These are the stories that weren't really reported in Vegas that merit a second look for 2025. So much like an iceberg video where we talk about the things that everybody knows, we'll get it out of the way first. Vegas is down in 2025, down 7.8%, and we still don't know how bad it will really be or if it'll get better, because it could get better. What we do know is that F1 did not fix November. We do know the city is down 7.8% for the year. We know that this was the year that everybody looked at Vegas and said, the value isn't there. Things went viral online, $26 bottles of water, $30, $40 for a coffee and bagel. This was the year that the consumer pushed back. Consumer confidence is down, layoffs are up, people are feeling stressed, inflation is hitting people, and no matter what the government wants to tell you about GDP, that has nothing to do with your bottom line in life. Most vacationers are struggling, and they simply didn't choose Vegas. And before you tell me in the comments, I know you're out there, yes, and it was Donald Trump's doing, these are things that happened before Trump was in office. This is a long lead up, and yes, I'm sure that is an argument that can be made, but we're just going to call it what it is. Lack of value and greedy hotels. And if that wasn't enough, new tax legislation was passed that essentially screws gamblers, and it's going to affect absolutely everybody. It's the whole 90% loss write-off. Yeah, starting January 1st of 2026, according to my watch, that is in 11 hours and 45 minutes. If you come to Vegas and you lose money, you can no longer deduct 100% of your loss for your taxes, only 90%. But let's say you came into Vegas and you gambled big and heavy. You lost $100,000. Time was in the past you could claim a $100,000 loss and owe zero taxes. But now if you lost that $100,000, you can only claim $90,000 as a loss, meaning that now, guess what? You owe taxes on $10,000. Now, you never won that $10,000, but guess what? The IRS, they still want theirs. All the casino owners in town are going, you know what, crazy over this. They want to make sure that this gets reversed. And it's really funny because this stayed silent until the last few weeks of the year. Yeah, where were the lobby groups to try to fix all this? This is going to absolutely decimate the high roller business in Vegas, because why would you come here when you can go to Atlantic City or take a trip to the Bahamas and play at a high roller table where your tax situation is better? And this puts the Canadians in a better perspective for staying in Canada and gambling in places like Niagara Falls or even Windsor, Ontario. The only good news about the tax thing is that hand pays are now required to get your tax information when you hit a $2,000 win, not a $1,200 win. So for all of us regular folks that are gambling small amounts, except for me, I don't gamble. The one guy in Vegas that never made a YouTube slot channel, I'm missing out, I tell you. Yeah, you can win more and you can claim less on your taxes. And all that seems pretty straightforward. One of the least straightforward and most bizarre stories that someday they will probably make a movie about is the death of one of the big architects of modern day Vegas, the forgery, and the international manhunt to figure out who actually has the will. And we'll talk about that coming up right after a message from our sponsor, which is me, this video, my course. So my friends, 2026 is upon us, and if you're anything like how I used to be, you may not like the New Year's very much. Maybe you're looking back at the last year wondering, where's all those plans and things I wanted to accomplish? What happened to those? But for me, that actually all changed when I started trading the futures markets. Once I figured that skill out, I realized it was special. And once I started stacking my base hits, I realized I could be potentially unstoppable. And that's why I started my course, 1K a day. It's where I teach you how to read the futures markets, look for the same things that happen on a repeatable basis. Click a button if it goes up, you can make some money there. Click a button if it tanks, you can make some money there too. You know, I have over 700 students now that are doing the exact same thing. They're on their computers in front of the markets for maybe 15 to 20 minutes a day. They're stacking their base hits. Look, if that sounds like a skill that you want to learn, for the first 4 people watching this video, just click the link below and type in NYE4, New Year's Eve 4. I'm going to give you the entire course for $199, only price you'll ever pay. I'm adding to it all the time. I think there's like 100 plus videos in the course. And just do it before I increase the price in the new year, because my platform, they want me to sell it for the $2,000 price it's really worth. They get more of a cut that way. And I know that you guys are already paying too much to big companies, so don't let them take their cut. Get in today for the first 4 people. Click the link, NYE4. And with that, I'll see you as a student on the other side. Quite possibly one of the strangest things that happened in Vegas over the past few years is the tragic passing of Tony Hsieh. If you don't know him, he took Fremont Street East from looking like this to looking like it does today. Amazing individual, moved Zappos into town, made Vegas a destination for different corporate headquarters. We owe so much to the man. And when he suddenly passed away, tragically, with zero will, everybody was confused. They didn't know what to do. The lawsuits, they came hot and heavy. Then this year in April of 2025, a will somehow mysteriously just poof appeared. But it wasn't like, found in an old chest that they opened up when they were going through his things before a yard sale. No, it was discovered in Pakistan by a guy named Kashif Singh, of all people. What's even stranger about this case is that the will, it actually names beneficiaries that nobody knows. They don't know who these people are. Added to that, the will used so-called nonsensical terms, and it was signed by 5 witnesses that seemingly don't even exist in the real world. Flash forward to just this month, December of 2025, and Tony Hsieh's lawyers for his estate, they've confirmed everything. The people don't exist. The will is a complete forgery. It was signed by fabricated witnesses, and everything on it is as fake as Americanized Chinese food. The whole thing seems to be a fabricated lie, a giant scam run out of Pakistan to defraud $500 million out of the estate of a man who did nothing but bring joy and happiness to other people's lives, and who, by all accounts, was a large part of the entire reason why you actually might go to downtown Las Vegas today. And this goes to show that international fraud and scams will hit Vegas hot and heavy from every corner of the world. But one of the worst things is that workers on the Las Vegas Strip now, they feel like they're getting scammed pretty hard too. So in 2025, servers, people working in the service industry, bringing food to your table, refilling your drinks, they were supposed to get a break. No tax on tips for the first $25,000. That's quite the deduction. But in Vegas, all of that fell apart for people working in that same service industry in 2025. The next time you come to town, know this. The person that's serving your table saw a 50% reduction in their tips in 2025. No, that's not hyperbole. I'm not making that up for clicks. No tax on tips doesn't work when you don't have any tips. And you don't have any tips because there's nobody in Vegas. And there's nobody in Vegas because consumer confidence is at an all-time low. And as the Strip properties have tried to juggle the schedules of these service workers, thereby reducing their hours to bare minimums in some cases, the same properties got themselves caught up in what sounds like organized crime and $30 million in fines for money laundering. The culture of money laundering, the thing that we always knew that was going on, finally started to get exposed. And one by one, these Strip properties started getting massive fines levied on them. Resorts World, a resort that doesn't need any more bad publicity after their former CEO, Scott Sabella, was forced out of the entire gaming industry. They were hit with a fine because they literally let people related to organized crime and illicit sports betting gamble freely on their casino floor, taking their action left, right, and center. Scott Sabella, the same disgraced guy from Resorts World International, also led to MGM Resorts International having the same types of fines, $8.5 million imposed on them for practically the same thing, simply looking the other way while big players bet in your casino, not actually vetting them to know where their money comes from. Now, if you don't know this, let's say you come into a casino and you're a new player, that casino has a responsibility under the law to know exactly where your funds are coming from. They do deep background checks, and if they can't figure out if your money is good or if it's crooked, they simply ask you to leave. Unless you worked at a property where this guy Scott Sabella worked, in which case it's just gimme, gimme, gimme. We just need the bottom line. Bottom lines in Vegas seem to be improving for the Sphere, which is still severely underwater. Recently, the MSG Sphere, the newest shiny thing to open, way over budget on the Las Vegas Strip, by the way. This building cost more money than Allegiant Stadium, which is a 65,000-seat venue that required literal bedrock to be blasted out of the ground. For the first 4 or 5 years, they've lost literally billions of dollars. Lately, the Wizard of Oz experience has been the belle of the ball at the Sphere, but based on the revenue coming in from the Wizard of Oz, but based on the losses accumulated over the last few years at the Sphere, the Wizard of Oz would need to run for 2.3 years plus at its current trajectory just to break even on the building as a whole. But not everything in Vegas has struggled to keep the lights on. Some of them have just gone dark completely. We're talking about a category I'd like to term luxury stupidity. I'm not talking about Louis Vuitton or Prada because whether or not you like it, those serve a purpose. They carry your stuff around and they last a really long time. No, we're talking about things like Nurset, Salt Bay's restaurant. You know, everybody's favorite meme, the guy who crashed into a World Cup celebration. It didn't make any sense. Yeah, his restaurant closed in early 2025. It turns out that people don't have the tolerance in the current economy to waste money on $1,000 steaks that are flecked with a little bit of gold dust. So, good riddance to Salt Bay. I'm sure it'll be replaced by something soon that also charges you $1,000. Maybe they could just put a bunch of mini fridges from Aria in there and it'll just be the $26 bottle of a water feature.
Aria, even water gets the Vegas treatment. Introducing the $26 water bottle experience. Pure mountain-sourced H2O served in a crystal-etched vessel, chilled to the precise degree your evening deserves. Sit beneath a prismatic installation. Feel the city lights refract through every drop.
And off the strip for everybody in Vegas, where 1 out of 4 jobs that don't exist on the Las Vegas Strip depend on the Strip, things have been a bit of a rough one. We had the housing market completely freeze. It didn't crash. Prices have not really reduced. But at the same time, inventory has exploded. In a city like Vegas, and I'm planning to do a whole video on this coming up, you need 3.5 times your income in order to be able to comfortably afford a house. In Vegas, that means that housing prices for a single-family residential or a condo should be around $245,000. However, the minimum income required to buy a home in Vegas right now, much higher. Yeah, $128,000. That's what you need based on that financial calculation that's been used practically forever to buy a home comfortably in the Valley. And with so many small businesses in the Valley reliant either directly on overflow tourism or indirectly by just providing services to the hospitality industry, local businesses are starting to crack with layoffs happening, causing the unemployment rate in Nevada to be the second highest in the nation. So we're right up there with California. So to all my people in Nevada, next time you want to criticize, we got to look at our own backyard and fix our own problems first. Those are all the crazy things that happened out here in the Valley in 2025. I'm sure 2026 is going to bring new opportunities for everybody, and I do believe that you have unlimited potential in you. I think the Strip can make a pivot as soon as one of those properties decides to do something drastic. I've been told by casino CEOs that the one thing they will never do is reduce and waive the resort fee. But could you imagine if just one did? Yeah, we'd have a new day in Vegas with much more open competition. So whatever you decide to do in 2026, get a new job, take on a new relationship, start a new business, take my course. You'll find the coupon code below for the first 4 people. Make sure you do it full blast. Don't do half measures because the world's best medicine doesn't work if you do half doses. And with that, be excellent. I'll be on the Strip later on today covering New Year's Eve. I hope to see you there. And until we meet again in another video, as my mentor always tells me, I'll tell you the same. Just keep swimming.